All right. Hey, everyone. Um, hello. And I don't know what to say here. Today's going to be a little bit of a slightly different kind of stream. So I know usually we have like a daily topic that I talk about, and I somewhat pretend that I know what I'm talking about, even though I don't know what I'm talking about. Today is not really one of those days. Today's today's more of just a vlog style, and we'll have conversation around it. So yesterday uh, I talked about anxiety, and I talked about feeling bad, and kind of how do we move on from that. And it's not a good day for me today. How do I say this? Today was not a bad day, but today was also not a super hot day. Like, it was not productive. I had a really hard time working, and let's see, how do I say this? It's today. Please forgive me. I'm a little confused here because I'm trying out new internet settings, and I honestly have no idea if everything is working properly. So please forgive me. Okay, I'm just gonna try that, and I hope that works well. For whoever is watching on YouTube, let me know if everything is working smoothly. Am I choppy? I'm messing around with the internet right now, and something tells me that it's not working very well. So if you're on YouTube, let me know how the connection is. Yeah, I'm a little hesitant on it. Okay. Anyway, here's what I'll say. Today's live stream is for people who kind of struggle with anxiety. I would say people who have bad days and sometimes they have a hard time getting through it. I'm also taking this opportunity to, I guess, reach out to people who might be able to give us some advice. Like, when you're feeling in a low, what kind of helps you get out of that low and get back on track. Let's see. So I'm hearing the connection as well. I'm curious. So yeah. Anyway, I'll look at the video afterwards to see how it is. I believe when I'm connected through my data plan, it's steady, but it's very slow. Meaning the image quality is not high quality. Like right now, when I look at the camera, uh, um, I got like HD quality, but I don't think it turns out like that. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, so today, here's how my day went today. Essentially, what I did was I woke up in the morning. I wanted to get work done, and honestly, I didn't feel like getting out of bed. How do I say this? I was ready to get out of bed. It wasn't too hard to get out of bed. What was hard was to find the motivation to do work today. And I don't know how to say this. It was one of those days where normally in the past, I would just feel super bad about myself, and I would just feel really upset, and I'd beat myself up like, Richard, why aren't you working? You know, you're whatever. All the negative conversations would come up, and um, it would be overwhelming. It would be more overwhelming than I knew what to do with it. So today's kind of hack or tool that um, helped me move past that negativity is I understood. I kind of had two options. Number one is I do the work, um, which I had a really hard time. So instead, what I ended up doing was giving myself permission. I told myself, if I'm just going to feel bad about not doing work and all that kind of stuff, I might as well give myself permission to not do work today. So that's what I did today. Instead of having a mindset of today's a work day, because I looked at my agenda for today, and today was like, it was a day I could do work, but I could also push work off till later. So instead of doing, how do I say this? Instead of doing like work in regards to my speaking business, I decided to do something else that was productive. So I cleaned the house. You know, I cleaned the house. I got an oil change. I ran some errands. I brought some groceries, and I just like, how do I say this? It's not a perfect solution, but at least by giving myself permission to not stress out so much, I didn't have a terrible day, because I could have sat right here where I'm sitting. You know, I could have tried to do work the whole day, and most likely the result would be just me stressing out, feeling sorry for myself, feeling bad, and all that stuff. And I would rather do something productive and feel a little bit better. So that's what I did. So again, I know if I sat here and didn't change my mindset, I would have like gone downhill. Like I would have been so stressed out of my mind. So anyway, um, I'm not perfect in terms of my emotions, and I'm not like devastated either. You know, it's somewhere in between. It is a little bit more on the negative energy side, but it's okay. Like I'm not being, how do I say that? What's that word? Uh, Overly optimistic. What's that? It's not gullible. It's like there's a word that's kind of like uh unrealistic. It's like, you know, you're kind of in your own fantasy land. Like I'm aware of the reality that I know the only way for me to move forward is to choose, like, to address the conversation, to actually work on the, like, what's the root? Why am I feeling this anxiety and feeling this uh you know, part of my, or language, but my crappy emotions. I'm going to use that because you know, it's trying to keep this family rated. um, let's see. Hold on. Let me see this. All right. Jummy Kim says, "Do you think this helps people? Do I think what helps people? I'd like to know that." Um, let me see here. Oh, and then quixotic. I've never heard that word before. Quixotic. Quixotic means exceedingly idealistic, unrealistic, and impractical. Yeah, idealistic, romantic. What else is here? Yeah, that's a good word. Quixotic, quixotic. Um, yes. So, yeah. Anyway, this stream is about just like, sorry, my mind's kind of going two places. Like, I want to read your comments. I also want to stick, you know, finish my point. So I'll finish my point, then I'll look at your comments that I see. Um, what do I have here? So a few thoughts are coming to my mind right now. Like, still, I have anxiety. It's interesting because my anxiety right now is I have a little bit of anxiety in my chest, and I have some anxiety in my stomach. Like, so it's interesting because if we are self aware of our body, like where we feel that, you know, tightness, that energy, it tells us something else. But I don't know the official breakdown. I do know that when I feel that pressure in the chest versus the stomach, it means something different, and that's not just some, you know, nonsense. It's really like it's more of a neurochemical slash physiological thing too. So um, it's interesting because I don't know the study behind it. I'm sure if I Googled it, I will figure out why, like what it means. But for me, when I feel pressure in my chest, I feel like there's a lot of chest pressure, like that anxiety in the chest is a lot. It's a lot of like uncertainty. It's a lot of like, I don't know what's going on. But once, this is my belief off the top of my head, or my guess, yeah, I'm gonna say my guess. But now that I feel the energy, that tightness, that anxiety in my stomach, to me, to me at least, it feels like it's almost like I'm more calm. um, I know I still have a problem, but at least I know that I have the problem. You know, I know that I have this anxiety. I know that I got to work through it. I just don't know how in this moment yet. So that's one thing I'm working on right now. All right. Um, so I'll read comments and then we'll, you know, intertwine and make this happen. All righty. Don says music is my escape, playing guitar and jamming. Makes anxiety go away. Kitty says, "Hey Richard, I had a crazy day. Happy to see you. Good to see you too, Kitty." So yeah, let's today's just gonna be open forum. I'm not, how do I say this? We're gonna learn today, but we're just gonna have fun. We're gonna chill. You know, we're gonna talk about life. We're gonna talk about anxiety, bad day. I'll maybe do a little bit of ranting about my day, just a little bit. You know, I'm not here to rant and all that kind of stuff, but how do I say this? Yeah, I'm honestly still processing. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, I'm glad I made a conscious decision today. What's up, Success Roller Coaster? I'm glad I made a conscious decision today to not focus on beating myself up, but rather give myself permission to just do something else, to stop stressing out about work and give myself an off day, even though I don't feel perfect about it. I think there's most definitely a better way I could have handled it. It's just I don't know the best way I could have handled it in this moment. I did the best that I can today, which was to shift focus from work, massively stressing on work, to just shifting to doing something else that's productive, aka cleaning the house, getting oil change, getting groceries, stuff like that. So yeah, I'll be honest. I know yesterday I kind of talked about trying to figure out what the root of the problem was, and I still haven't reached the root. I'm still brainstorming. I'm still processing what's the problem. What am I dealing with? So here's light to I don't always know the answers. I don't. Yeah. What else got here? Sorry, just like some small things. If you think my eye contact is a little bit off, it's because my monitor yesterday decided to break down on me. So if you notice, my setup was different yesterday. It's a little bit different today. If you notice, the angle is a little bit lower, or it's off. It's yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to reorientate my reorientate myself. The good news is it's the weekend tomorrow. Usually it's a work day. Tomorrow I'll be doing some. I'm going to my friend's housewarming party, and then another friend has a bachelorette party. So, yeah, looking forward to hanging out, relaxing for a little bit. I do need to get back on the work train though. It's I got to recenter myself to kind of my higher purpose. Like what is the purpose of my life type of thing. Like my purpose driven work, my self-esteem / acceptance / self-worth work, speaking. I got to work on that too. So what else is life is a bunch of ups and downs. It's a bunch of it's not always perfect. I'm not always on my A game. I have moments like this where I have a little bit of hardship, and I know it's temporary. I know it's not going to be here forever. So if I were to give any kind of wisdom based off my experiences, and I know plenty of people on here that are far, we're all intelligent in our own ways, but there's people on here that are watching right now who have, a wealth of information that I could learn from. Anyway, if there's anything that I learned from learning from the situation right now is that when we feel sad, when we feel anxiety, when we are down, just know that that's temporary. Just know that it's not forever. And how we move forward from it is by addressing it. And again, I probably won't figure it out on the stream, but I will figure it out hopefully sooner than later. And if I don't figure it out by, let's say tomorrow, no Facebook Live tomorrow, or no YouTube Live either, because I have my bachelorette party. I know it's my girl best friend's getting married, but her bachelorette party has both guys and girls at it. So we're doing a murder mystery. Ooh. So anyway, yeah, I don't remember what my point was. So let's look at the comments. Carla Alcantar says, hey, I've been struggling with anxiety on the chest. Good for you. So sorry, hold on. Let me rephrase that just to be clear. I've been struggling with anxiety on the chest. And then next comment, good for you, says Carla. Yeah. All right, so I guess today, in a way, it's like for my friends out there who are kind of struggling with anxiety too. This is for you. This is kind of just it's like a support group today. It's like let's all kind of understand that many of us struggle with anxiety, and we're all at different levels. Working through it, and we got some people on probably who are really good with dealing with anxiety, but we're all human beings. We all have our challenges. Alexa Ristic says, hey, Richard, you are such a great person, and I wish you all the best. Thank you, Alexa. I appreciate that. Kitty says, since you know my horrible habit, should I hide all blades, razors, and or weapons in general? when I am very anxious and unhappy, that is my habit. Kitty, thank you for sharing that. So it's interesting that you knew that I knew what your habit was. My recommendation to you is, yes, I'd highly recommend, um, yes, hiding all your blades, razors, any kind of like anything that that you can harm yourself with, for sure. It's like, how do I say this? It's the same thing. It's the same thing with eating junk food. Uh, the more easily accessible eating junk food is, the more likely we are to do it. So, yeah, like in my pantry, I used to have a bunch of junk food. Guess what? I threw it all away. And then, like, a few days ago was trash. This is like, I threw it away months ago, or weeks slash months ago. And um, I looked lower, and I noticed I had some Tim Tams. If you don't know Tim Tams, like, by the way, first time I've ever eaten Tim Tams was last year, and Tim Tams are so good. They're so delicious. They're like these chocolate biscuits from Australia. They're so good. Like, I don't know why Americans don't eat them. Like, I found it at a dollar store in America, but I don't know why Tim Tams aren't popular. They're so good and they're so cheap. Anyway, I threw them out because I'm like, this is not serving me. So anyway, with anything, any kind of bad habits, like, the best thing to do is to just get rid of it. Like, out of mind, out of sight. You know, like, the more these bad things are out of reach for us, the easier it is to kind of be in flow. So it's the same thing with positive things. What's an example? I mean, this is a little bit more challenging, but like, for example, so I have I got two books right here. I don't really read, but the fact that I have these two books right in front of me, like, it's underneath my laptop. I have like this little riser. The fact that it's easily accessible, even though I don't read a lot, I'm more likely to read the book because it's readily available. Haha, readily available. Never mind. That's too cheesy. Okay. Yeah, so it's all about like surrounding ourselves with more positive things. Like, up on this wall right here is a bunch of, like, I have my goals, I have my vision board, I have kind of like some affirmations. I do have a mirror right here, and it's weird. Like, I don't know. I don't know how do I say this. Like, it's nice. It's nice to have a mirror here. Not that I'm vain and I'm like, ooh, look at that sexy man. I don't really do that. But it's, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying here. Anyway, I try to surround myself with more positive things. Yeah. Kitty, thank you for opening up about that. You know, I know that's not easy, especially, I mean, you're doing it completely publicly, and that's like, it's a tough thing to talk about. It really is. But I'm proud of you, and I think the more we are open to talking about it, the more, the more it becomes easier to cope with it in a way. So, Kitty, I hope this is kind of the beginning for you in continuing to connect with people and having conversations, because, um, so now that you've kind of expressed it openly, like, I know I definitely know multiple people. Sorry, hold on. I'm gonna go to the extreme, Kitty. Like, I don't know, I don't know at what level, you have not indicated if you ever, attempted suicide or anything like that. But I'm going to go there. I'm not implying that you have, but I'm just going to go there because I think it's kind of important. I'm not even going to say sorry or please forgive me if it's dark, because, these kind of conversations are super important. But I know a ton. I know. Let's see. I could think of at least, I could name 3 people who have attempted suicide off the top of my head. I probably know at least over a dozen. I'm sure the list just goes on, and my mind's blanking right now. But my point is, let's see. Oh goodness, I'm thinking of a gentleman named Wes Chapman. He is a human. I don't want to call him motivational speaker. He is a speaker, but he's way more than that. He's not just a speaker. He's like a human worth advocate. And I recommend, if anyone has ever struggled with kind of like lacking self-worth, or you know what, just in general, like he's such a great speaker, not just a great speaker, just a great human being. He's attempted suicide 12 times when he was younger. He's been through everything. He's been sexually molested as a kid. He like everything, you know. Anyway, so I bring him up. He's, to me, he's a really inspiring person. And one thing that I get to do more of is give recommendations, you know, on these live streams, because, you know, I'm only one guy. Like literally, I am not the wisdom of the world. And yeah, so there's so much to learn from, and I got to continue to just share. So Wes Chapman, I recommend looking him up, and I want to go as far as to actually searching his YouTube video and posting the link. So I'm trying to figure out what's a good one. Goodness, I don't know which. I just watched 2 videos recently. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna post it. So this is an interview with. I want to send everyone, or link everyone to Wes Chapman's interview with Tom Bilyeu, aka Impact Theory. So now you know 2 things, 2 of my favorite peoples in a way. Wes Chapman, which I've met both of them in person at the same conference, and Tom Bilyeu, I listen to his podcast a lot. Wes Chapman, I have a lot of respect for him. Anyway, Chapman, Impact Theory. Second, I'm linking everyone to this YouTube video because I think it's a great video. And again, just so I'm clear, the link I'm linking everyone right now, it's a YouTube video kind of around self-worth. But in this interview that he does with Tom, it's way more than that too. So yeah, I'm about to post it on Facebook in just a second once my computer decides it wants to load. Hold on. Oh wow. I'm really curious to see the internet connection after this live stream, because like I could watch my video and see if it was lagging, because this, like, it is working really slow right now. But I'm not going to complain, because the fact that we get a live stream is pretty cool. Alrighty. Let's see here. Araceli, aka Cupid, says, "Hey Cupid, did you read my comment on your last video? I wonder if it's similar reason to your anxiety." No, I have not seen your comment yet. Please forgive me for that. I will soon. I will soon see your comment. I'm not the best with YouTube comments all the time, but I read them once in a while. So sorry about that. Let's see. Raphael says, "I just got rejected. WTF do I do?" So what do I do? If you get rejected, what do you do? So, I mean, we talk about this a lot. This is almost close to a daily conversation on this live stream, which is, if someone ever rejects you, if someone does anything, just know that nothing is ever personal. So, from the book, one of my favorite books, because it's a simple read, it's a very clear read. It's called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. If you get rejected, the first thing that comes to my mind is don't take it personally. Nothing is ever personal. And I understand how silly that can sound to someone who doesn't believe it. But, you know, I've been living my life like this forever. Not forever, but like for the past, I don't know how many years. And once you understand nothing is personal, if someone rejects you, it's not personal. And, you know, I'm guessing if you're struggling with rejection, you're like, what do you mean it's not personal? You know, like, of course it is. She rejected me because she doesn't like me. No. The reason why people, by the way, if you already get this, then this is either A, a reminder, or B, for the people who are kind of new to this and haven't learned this topic yet, or this concept yet, which is people reject you not because of you. People reject others because of the views that they've grown up with and they've been raised by. So yeah, like I've been rejected over 100 times by girls. You know, not because I'm a douchebag, but because I've been trying to be in relationships and online dating. That's what it's like to be an Asian guy, apparently. Fun little fact while we're here. The fun little fact is, for the longest time, I was very blind to the fact that I'm Asian, which I think is a good thing. I don't think it should really matter. But what I realized is that with online dating, Asian guys are not preferred. Like, it's one of the lowest ranking in terms of desirability. Uh, Asian women, there's Asian fever there, so there's Asian females are much more desired than Asian men. It's like flip flop for some reason. Anyway, random thing. Anyway, so if you got rejected, what do? Don't take it personally. Like, it's okay. And Raphael, let's see. This is one of the first times I've seen you comment, so I'm guessing you're a little bit newer here. Well, hold on. There's something. Let's see. Why I say this? Yeah. So I don't know if it's clear in my tone or whatever it is. I don't want you to think that I'm like. I don't really care what people think, but I want you to understand my intention. Like, I'm not trying to be insensitive or whatever it is. I get, like, I empathize with how you feel. Like, I get it. I'm just trying to be very straightforward with this. Don't take it personally. It's that, like, that's going to solve your emotional internal challenges, because if you don't take it personally, then you won't get offended by it. You won't get hurt by it. That's such a stretch. Like, we're human beings. If we get rejected, we're probably going to get hurt anyway, even if we try our best to not take it personally. It's part of being human. But yes. So I want to talk a little bit more about this rejection thing. If you get rejected, then number one, I've already said this a million times, don't take it personally. And two, like, there's a few different options here. Like, one option, and I would be very, like, mindful if you take this approach, but if you get rejected, it doesn't always mean that it's not going to work out. But here's what I mean, mindful. So, are you straight up getting rejected? Like, for a fact that this person is not interested in you forever, and it just won't work out. Or is it like they're just rejecting you because they're shy, they might be insecure, whatever. And honestly, we don't always know. Chances are, if you get rejected, usually it means it's time to move on. And at that point, just if you're talking about, I'm just going to say a girl in this situation. If you get rejected by a girl, and don't be attached to it, don't take it personally, move on. Either go check out, not check out, go pursue other girls, or enjoy just being single, whatever it is. So that's just like a little mini scenario. Like, it's just, life goes on. It's everything. I don't know how to say it. Like, everything happens for a reason. Like, don't put attachment to people or things. It's I think attachment really creates a lot of suffering. So if we're attached to relationships, if we're attached to people, if we're attached to objects, like, think about your favorite pair of whatever it is, your favorite pair of shoes, your favorite video game. You're attached to the way that you look. Like, attachment creates pain. So when we learn, it's a process, but when we learn to not attach ourselves to physical things, or I'm just gonna say physical things, then or people, it's a lot easier to just flow. Like, we're not afraid to lose things. So, for example, if my house burned down, I might be a little bit sad. I had a lot of belongings in here. Like, my whole life was in here. I got, whatever, photos and memories in my computer. I will be sad, but I personally don't think I would really care that much either. Hold on. I hope you understand what I mean. Like, it wouldn't be the end of my life. Some other people, they attach their, like, self-worth to their home. And at that point, like, they're crushed. They're devastated. Same thing with a relationship. I mean, that's a touchy subject there. I'm not a professional there. So, but for me, like, if a relationship doesn't work out for me in this moment, I feel like I wouldn't take it personally. I would understand that everyone has their own path, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. So that's how I feel in this moment right now. Yeah. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's meant to work out, it'll work out. If it's not meant to be, then it won't work out. Move on. Okay. Uh, Andy Rock says, how to quit bad habits. Let's see. That's yeah. Hold on. I'll get to that in a second. Hi, Maria. Good to see you on again. Maria is the psychology woman, psychologist, the knowledgeable, the bookworm. Looking forward to hear your thoughts. All right, so real quick, I'm gonna look your comments, but hey, Maria, since you're on right now, I would like to kind of get your thoughts on this. So, and anyone else who wants to share. So, yesterday I was talking about anxiety. I was talking about kind of I don't remember the exact title name, but it was around feeling bad and something about like how do we kind of move on from it. So today the situation for anyone who just hopped on is today I had a pretty resistant day. I had a pretty bad day. I don't want to call it a bad day. I don't feel like it was a bad day. It could have been a bad day if I kept trying to force myself to work when I had all these other internal problems, whatever's going on inside of me. So, for anyone who just hopped on, the scenario in a nutshell is today I was supposed to do work, but I chose like in the morning. I'm like, you know what? My energy is just not like I'm not focused on work. Like I don't have the motivation. I don't like. There's something bothering me right now. I don't know what it is exactly, but there's something bothering me, and there's a lot of fears. There's a conversation that I get to work through. And I just got to sit down and work through it. You know, I got to really focus and understand what's getting in the way right now. So I think I'll do that after the stream, or maybe I'll do it during the stream. Maybe I will. It's tough though. You know, sometimes like there's some parts that might be not that I'm not vulnerable, but there might be some parts that are too personal to share. Or I don't know what it's. Maybe it might involve someone else. Whatever. For the most part, I'm a pretty open person. At least I think so. So I like to get anyone's thoughts. If you have one of those days where you just don't feel like working because something came up, like something triggered you. So for me, something triggered me, and that's why I don't feel like working today. So if you have any thoughts around how do you kind of shift, I would love to know. Any kind of powerful questions you could ask yourself. I'd be curious. And a little quick additional story on top of this. So one of my bad habits, oh goodness. Okay, so one of my bad habits, straight up, so this is right now I'm feeling, you know, I got triggered. So, and then I start feeling negative. I just disconnect. I don't want to work. And this is that dangerous place where it's that caution zone for Richard. Like this is one of those places where it is very possible for me to go into the deep end. This is where my bad habits start coming back. This is in the past. This is one of those like, you know, screw life. I don't care anymore. I'm gonna go play video games. I'm gonna go eat a lot. You know, emotionally eat, and I stop caring about things. And then you see me like you don't see me on YouTube anymore for several weeks or months. So I acknowledge, I'm aware that today is one of those days. The only difference is right now I'm aware to the point that I know I have the choice. I could either let the negative habits that are assumed that might come up to kind of take over me, or I can stay in control and keep moving through it. And so far, I'm in control of it. You know, it's a little bit of a heavy weight. It's like earlier today, or this morning, I didn't want to talk to anyone. You know, I just want to escape, like kind of run off and like I had that feeling of I hope nobody notices me. I hope I'm just invisible. I was feeling this morning. I feel a little bit better now, but it's still not completely resolved. You know, it's possible that tomorrow I wake up in the morning and that feeling comes up again. And I think what's really important to manage our anxiety, I think managing our anxiety is really, really important. So what happens if we don't manage our anxiety is we start slipping into the deep end. Our bad habits come back up. You know, we start whatever it is. It can be watching too much, binge watching TV. It could be diving into porn. You know, it could be like whatever our thing is. It could be playing video games. It could be overeating. It can be drinking alcohol, smoking. It could be cutting ourselves. You know, it could be a lot of different things. So for me, it's like acknowledgement is really important. Like when you're feeling anxiety, it's important to just notice, like, okay, I'm feeling it. Step one, like acknowledge, like, okay, I'm feeling anxiety. I don't know where it's coming from. And then self-awareness is such a powerful tool. Like if you are self-aware of your habits, like when you feel anxiety, what do you usually do? Like I noticed for myself, I shut down. Like I I almost, again, dating a girl, I almost didn't talk to my girl this morning because I was just like I don't want her to deal with this, you know, like I don't want anyone to feel this negativity, so I'm just going to shut down and not talk to anyone. But then I realized like I also don't want to stay disconnected forever. So I had to figure out like I had to be aware of I had to be aware of myself and understand, you know, what triggers me. I don't know what triggers me yet. But I had to figure out how to work through it. So still working through it. I'm still staying afloat, and I'm going to keep myself in that positive habit mode. You know, I'm going to keep doing it. Here's a good example. So earlier today, when I'm in that anxiety state, you know, it can be dangerous, and it can be dangerous in several different ways. So I noticed that one thing I noticed that when I was in that emotional state, I wanted to just go downstairs and eat. I mean, granted, all the food downstairs is pretty healthy, but I could still eat so much, like quantity wise, that it becomes unhealthy. And there's some high calorie foods like nuts and stuff like that. Anyway, so because I was aware that I was in this negative state of mind and my emotions were taking control of me, I mean, again, I'm not perfect. There are far more efficient ways to handle these situations, and I'm sure if I Googled it or YouTubed it, I'd be able to find out a good way to handle it. But what I did for myself was when I went downstairs to go eat, first of all, many of you know I do intermittent fasting, so I don't eat until noon. That rule itself creates great self-discipline. So that's one of those rules that I'm not willing to break. How do I say this? In this context, I was not willing to break. There's some times where, never mind, I don't want to go into it. There's a few exceptions where I do break the, I don't eat until 12 p.m., but very, very few times. So today was not one of those exceptions. So I wanted, like, I was feeling emotional, you know, like sad, anxious, and I wanted to eat emotionally at like 8 or 9 a.m. in the morning. Like I was just like, man, I'm just looking at I was just looking at the time. I was just like, can I eat? Yeah, like I don't feel like doing anything. You know, I just want to feel comforted by food. 12 o'clock hit, I ate lunch, and I noticed right after lunch, I kept eating. I ate my lunch and I kept snacking. And I realized I was eating emotionally. So that's when I decided to bust out my my FitnessPal app, which tracks all my calories. And I said, okay, if I'm going to eat this much, I need to track everything I'm eating. That way I understand how many calories I'm consuming. So by the time, you know, quote unquote lunch finish, I already consumed over 50% of my day's calorie. Like it was, I a lot, like usually about 1,600 calories per day. I was already close to 1,000 calories, which is like, it's a lot, you know, that means I can't eat a lot for dinner. Anyway, I tracked the calories that I ate today, you know, and I still ate a little bit over the cap. Yeah, it's good. I didn't overeat, but I did eat a little bit over. Okay. Alrighty. Yes, let's get into this. Andy Rocks, we did not. Sorry, I did not mean to ignore your question. Andy Rocks, I hope you're still on. Sorry, I was gonna say like vague questions get vague answers. So, but I'll do my best here. So how to quit bad habits? Context helps. If I know your situation, I can help you a little bit deeper. But I'm gonna give you general advice because you gave me. I don't have details. So how do you quit a bad habit? Choice. It's choosing. You make a decision. I'm going to choose a bad habit. That's number one. Like that's the biggest thing you can do. Like literally, if you want to quit a bad habit, it's a choice. I know that sounds really obvious, but that's literally it. Like it's a choice. So, um, I guess really what my point is when I say it's a choice, it's like you get to make a decision. Do you want to quit a habit? Yes or no? Sorry, I don't know. I don't know if I'm the subtitles are appearing on screen. Like even though I keep repeating the same thing. Like my point is like you're not going to quit a habit unless you choose to do it. Sometimes it's easier than others, and sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes it's really not as hard as we think it is. We make it harder than it actually is. So what do you want to do? You want to quit video games? You want to quit watching porn? You want to quit smoking? Like whatever it is, whatever habit it is, you got to understand what's going to work for you. So I'm going to use video games because that's kind of been my big addiction in the past. How I quit video games, I knew like you have to understand yourself. You have to understand what works best for you. So for me, it was like, I don't know how to say this. It's like there's a few things that work here. So with video games, for me, it was uninstalling League of Legends. Like that helped. That worked really well for me. But then it came back. I relapsed. It came back, and then I'm like, I started playing again, and then I uninstalled it. I did this like at least 15 times. In the past 5 years. Uninstall, reinstall, uninstall, reinstall, reinstall, play for like 6 months, uninstall for 3 months, install back. So it went back and forth. Anyway, let's see. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but I'm going to repeat this one more time. Quitting bad habits is a choice. Literally, that's what it is. It's like it's that easy to start creating habits again, or bad habits, or get back into bad habits. So, what's an example? For me, it's let's say food. So right now, I have positive eating habits. I eat vegetarian 6 days a week. I eat meat 1 day a week, and I don't eat processed foods. I don't eat. I try to not eat processed foods. I don't buy bread, anything that's processed. Even organic bread, I don't buy. But if I eat a little bit, like in a meal, that's cool. My point is, like, let's say one day I'm just like, you know what? I could have French fries today. For me, I know once I start breaking like a rule, I start giving myself slack. Like, it's not, one French fry is not going to hurt me. It's okay. Then the next day, or a few weeks later, I'm like, hey, remember that one time I had one French fry? Well, it's 2 French fries. I'll be okay. Once I start breaking these rules, I know myself. When I start breaking, if I break a rule, it kind of shatters the whole integrity of my system. So that's why, for me, in my own lack of self-discipline way, I need systems to keep me in check, which is why I do 6 days vegetarian, 1 day meatitarian, or just regular. Yeah. So how do you quit a bad habit? 1 is choice. 2 is know yourself and create systems that are real for you. Don't. Cold turkey works. Another way to quit a bad habit. One thing that I like in quitting bad habits or creating good habits is challenge yourself for a set time. So let's say I'm going to go back to quitting video games because that's always a big one. There's a few ways to quit video games. One thing I like to do is I like to quit for a certain period of time. Management for me is tough. So like quitting cold turkey is probably easier. Let's go with smoking. Smoking is like a very typical example too. Whatever addiction habit that you have. So quit for 2 weeks or quit for 1 month or whatever it is, like a trial period. And what I learned for myself is when I quit this certain bad habit for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, like a set period of time, it makes it more manageable. Like let's say I'm an alcoholic and I want to quit drinking, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to quit drinking for 1 whole year. You know how hard that's going to be? Like, I'm like, no, like I can't do that. I'm addicted to stuff. No, I'm not, but I'm just saying. So if you make it more manageable, like, no drinking for 1 week or no drinking for 2 weeks or 1 month. If you break it down into like a smaller goal, it's more manageable and you feel good at the end of it. And there's not that pressure of you got to keep doing it. So yeah, that's a little tip that I have there. Kitty Marie says, I think Asian people are cute. Don't judge. Plus, Richard, you are funny and kind. Oh, thank you. I mean, on behalf of all Asians, thank you. Funny. Okay. Thick Boy says, yeah, it's like rejection makes you realize your self worth. Hmm. Ah. That's a tricky conversation there. In what way do you mean rejection makes you realize your self worth? In a positive way or a negative way? I'm really curious about that one. Raphael says, I understand. Thank you for helping. You're welcome. Johnny Legg says, emotions are weird. I agree. Emotions are weird. Being human is definitely a weird thing. And I don't know, it's kind of cool too, right? Cupid, aka Araceli, aka Cupid says, LMAO, my dad is really attached to his house and money. If he were to lose both, he would definitely break down. He thought I was crazy. I didn't care if I if I lost both. That's funny. I can relate with that as well. My mom is like that too. Like she's like, no, like I can't lose the house. Like I feel like I would just like break down if I lost a house, because you know her self worth, a lot of it is the house that she built up, the house that she put so much hard work, blood, sweat, and tears to make enough money to buy this house. So yeah, there we go. Araceli says, how to shift quickly, to practice shifting a lot every day. In the past, it was difficult for me to shift at all. I learned to shift a whole lot at Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within. We had to shift more than 10 times a day for 4 days straight. Yeah, nice. So Araceli is like, if we're in this negative state, what's really important is shifting. So if you're in negativity, shift. Oh, goodness. Okay. So the conversation that's coming up for me is, honestly, I'm not the best at this, but I am resisting shifting because shifting is uncomfortable. That's the real talk right there. Okay, so what I can do better is shift, and I am choosing not to shift completely. Yeah. Anyway, I want to leave the awareness at that right now, and I'm not in this moment. I'm going to choose not to whatever shift or whatever that means. Just for now. I'm going to continue conversation though. Kitty says, I was laughed at 2 days today. Oh, I was laughed at today at school while dropping my things. Plus, I started breathing hard when I had trouble with math. Help. Okay, so Kitty, and anyone else who has a relatable story here. This is like dropping things is such a prime, stereotypical example. You have that image of that little scrawny kid with a rolly backpack or something, that nerd at the school. I'm not saying you are, Kitty. And then whatever, someone, a bully hits all the books and all the books fly everywhere, and everyone's laughing at him. And so here's my thought here. Okay, so if you drop something and people start laughing at you, like, don't take it personally. Really, this is like the least personal thing ever. Like, because I could see this from a third person perspective, it's like they're not laughing at you, they're laughing at the situation. They're laughing at the your clumsiness, but they're not laughing at you. You just happen to be the subject of their entertainment. So don't take it personally. Like, literally, it's if I were to drop something, like, yeah, let's say, I drop something, Richard drops something. Will I feel embarrassed? I might feel a little bit embarrassed because that's human. But if people are laughing at me, now I know to not take it personally. I know they're not laughing at me. So this reminds me, I mean, this is a small example. This is college. If something like this happened to me in high school, I'd be massively devastated. I would feel so insecure. But I remember in college, I think it was my 4th year in college. I remember I was waiting at a stoplight, like a pedestrian. It was a traffic light. And I was on a corner. I was on my skateboard or longboard, and I was standing on it, and all of a sudden I just randomly just slipped. I slipped and I hit my butt on the ground, like, hard. And the guy standing next to me, he just laughed. He just laughed at me. He didn't say, "Hey, are you okay?" Like nothing. He just laughed at me. This total stranger, and I'm just like, man, what a dick. Like, like that was so mean. Like it kind of hurt. Yeah, I'm just like, why? Whatever. Anyway, it's funny thinking about that because in that moment, this was years ago. I felt offended. I felt like I felt sad. I felt insecure. Like he was laughing at me. I did something really silly, something super embarrassing. So I get how we can feel embarrassed, but really there is no reason to feel embarrassed. We're just human beings. We all make mistakes. And um, really my opinion is if people start laughing at you, just, brush it off your shoulders. Like don't make a big deal out of it. It's okay. Like they're not really laughing at you. They don't like that stranger doesn't know who I am. You know, just because I fell, it doesn't make me any less of a human being. It doesn't make me worth less. I just fell. That's it. So don't how I say this. My opinion is just don't put so much weight on it. It doesn't define your self worth if you fall a lot or you drop things a lot. It's okay. Yep. Oh goodness, I'm thinking about other things. So quick little story. I'll make this brief. Elementary school, fourth grade. Fourth grade, I school play. I was in charge of hitting the triangle, and there were 3 performances. First performance, I dropped the triangle 3 times, and I was on the top of the risers. So when I dropped it, I had to jump down to grab it and bring it back up, and everyone could hear the triangles. Um, it's like a cowbell, the triangle, the musical instrument, and it was so embarrassing because people were laughing. Second performance, I dropped it twice, and then the nighttime performance, which is the most important one, the one where all the parents are at. I'm like, Richard, don't drop it, don't drop it, don't drop it. I dropped it once, and I felt so embarrassed because everyone was laughing at me. The parents were laughing at me, and now that I see it from their perspective, I was so embarrassed. I felt so insecure. But now that I see it from their perspective, they're not really laughing at me. They're not like making fun of me. They're not like, ha, look at that loser. There are people like that, but it shouldn't really matter anyway. Really, the parents were laughing more like, oh, that's cute, whatever it is, or that's silly. But it's not like, don't worry about it. Just enjoy it. Have fun with being silly, making mistakes, dropping things, all that stuff. Okay. Okay, that's what I have there. Starting breathing hard when I had trouble in math with math help. Breathe. Another thing is breathe. If you're feeling anxiety, learn to breathe. Like literally, our breath. Yeah, I don't want to get too spiritual here because I don't know all the science behind it, but our breath is powerful. So if you notice you start feeling anxious, like how they always say take a breathe in, breathe out. Like take a deep breath. Like really, just you could do it. I invite you right now. Let's take a breath together right now. Okay. So breathe in for like 4 seconds and then breathe out for 4 seconds. Ready? Go. And you could do it with me again. Breathe in. Breathe out. We'll do it one more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay. So, the cool thing about breath is that it helps us calm down, and it's like breath itself has so much power in it. And sometimes I know, like my younger self, if someone tells me to breathe in and out, I'll just do it because they say so. So I'll just be like, I'll just do it because like, oh, this is supposed to work, right? So you want to get present with your breath. Like get present. The point of getting present, when you get present with your breath, like just focus on your breath. Don't focus on your anxiety and your problems. Focus on your breath to the best of your ability. Like again, we're gonna breathe one more time for me, okay? One more time. Focus on your breath. Focus on, how the air feels going into your body and how the air feels going out. Okay. One more time. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. Ready? So when you focus on your breath, what's going to happen is you you're going to let go of the anxiety. You're going to stop focusing on the anxiety. You're going to start focusing on breathing in and out, and it's very calming as well. And I don't just mean that in a spiritual cliche way. Like, it really does help. The more centered and present you get with your breath, the more it will help. So if you're breathing hard during math, slow breaths, focus on your breath, and calm down. If you really want to learn how to do math better, calm down. Like, anxiety is not going to help you. When you are calm, when you let yourself just be calm, what's going to happen is your mind will get more present. Your mind, like, so right now, like, when you don't understand things, when your mind is racing, it's just like I don't know, how do I do this? I'm so confused. Like, wait, but I have to wait, but like, your mind is everywhere. The only way you're going to learn how to do math is if you calm your mind down. Calm it down one step at a time. Okay, there's a lot going on here. Okay, what don't I understand? I don't understand anything. Okay, cool. I don't understand anything. Okay, where do I start? What's the most basic version of this problem that I don't understand? It's this thing right here. Okay, let's focus on one question at a time. Focus on, okay, this question itself is super confusing. How do I do this? Break that question. Like, I don't know. Let's just go with a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay. Let's just say I don't understand what a squared plus b squared equals c squared is, and then I'm just like, well, first of all, I don't want to. What's a squared? What does a square mean? It's like, you got to break down each part of it. You can't just be like, I don't understand a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It's or whatever the other math equations are. Point being, it's like just one little thing out, one little piece of the puzzle at a time. If it's too stressful for you, break it even smaller. Like a squared. Okay, I don't know what squared is. I don't know what a represents. A represents one of the sides. Okay, cool. Why is it a? Because a is just a label, whatever. So it's like breaking down and understanding it piece by piece. Okay. That's what I got there. Raf is probably gone. Raf said, got to go by. So Raf just left us. Maria says, when I was up to give my valedictorian speech, I tripped and had thousands see that and chuckle, myself included. For a brief moment, I was devastated. But I changed the intro of my speech. It's a shift on. Oh goodness, hold on. I gotta read this. It was a shift on what we focus on. That's what? Sorry, I don't know which order this is going in. That's common. People can't be on full potential all the time. That's when we have to do another task. Usually doing something creative opens the floodgates to what you want to do. If you move on to what I'd call light duties and tackle simpler to-do items on the list, you might well find yourself gathering momentum again. Okay, sorry. So I just told everyone two different comments. I'll break this down real quick. So the first thing Maria is saying is sometimes we can't always be on our A game, is what Maria is saying. And sometimes when we are really stressed out and we're overworked and we can't focus on that, like that working or studying or whatever it is, sometimes we got to take a pause from that, work on something else. And when we do that other thing, like when we do more creative things, that will kind of open the floodgates. Like, we'll be more inspired, and then maybe that will support us into focusing again on our work. So that's number one. Number two thing Maria is saying is, so she had a valedictorian speech in front of thousands of people. She tripped in front of thousands of people, and it sounds like you chuckled at yourself. You laughed at yourself, and you changed the intro of your speech just to match that too. So that's what I am hearing you say. Alrighty, let's continue on with comments. Alexa says, dude, when I have anxiety panic attack, I then put alcohol as bad use and feel better. Reason why I became drinker and I can't stop ruining my life with cigarettes. It helps, but cost is high. Let's see here. Alexa also says, and my problem is I think too much when others say, and how would they feel like? How to care less? I think now Richard will get bored from all these questions. No, I don't. I don't get bored with questions. I find questions are fascinating to me. So let's see. Alexa, what I'm hearing you say is that when you have a panic attack, sometimes you go towards alcohol or cigarettes to kind of calm you down, but the cost is high. Um, unclarified, but I'm guessing financial costs. Alcohol and cigarettes are not cheap. But I'm also guessing you maybe possibly mean what alcohol and cigarettes do to your body as well, possibly. Yeah. So I know, based off scientific research, drinking too much alcohol and smoking too many cigarettes is not good for you. So not good for your health. Goodness. Sorry. I know someone who has oral cancer because they smoke too much. And it's not a fun thing to deal with, a lot of stress. So please take care of yourself. Not just Alexa, but everyone on right now. Please continue to do your best to eat healthy. I know it's your life. I know you can do whatever you want. I know you could drink, smoke, eat, crack, drugs, whatever you want. But do everyone a favor, yourself too, and do your best to moderate yourself. I'm talking to everyone, not just Alexa here. Yeah, I'm just speaking from a place of seeing other people go through challenges. I know a lot of sons who have to take care of parents with diabetes. I got daughters who have to take care of their mom with cancer, oral cancer from smoking. And all these other problems, all these health problems, because people made poor decisions with their physical health. So, please take care of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of them, spiritually too. Johnny Lex says, Richard, I'm not exactly an expert, but what you described seems like a small desire of escapism. I would agree with that. I think, hold on, what was it? Like, yes, emotional eating and kind of avoiding the task. It is a form of escapism. I do not deny that. I think it's I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that me doing other tasks, at least. So I'm not trying to make an excuse here. Like, I could have done better today. I could have addressed and shifted to tackle the problem right away. Honestly, whatever it is, it's a big thing. I'm scared of it, and that's why I still haven't. Like, I don't even know what the problem is, but it scares me enough that I didn't address it directly. And I still haven't for, I don't know if I haven't addressed it for 28 years of my life, like my whole life. But I haven't addressed it yet in this moment. And there is a more deeper rooted conversation that I probably have not had yet. Otherwise, I would know exactly why I'm feeling the way I am, and I would just address it and move on. So there's something there that's probably even deeper, and I could address that. But talking about escapism, if you're going to escape, my recommendation, if anything, I'm not, just like Johnny is saying, I'm not the expert either. But my recommendation is, if you're going to escape, at least try to escape to something more positive, more progressive. That's going to move you forward, or at least be neutral, as opposed to a negative habit. So, recommendation, you don't have to take it though. Yeah. Let's see. Maria says, can't understand why people smoke when they know what it does to their bodies, escaping with the device. What I will say is, I do understand why people smoke. Like, I won't really smoke myself, but it calms them down, and I don't know, it's addictive. Once it probably gets started, it's hard to quit, right? So, but for myself, I wouldn't understand why I would do it. That's what I would say. Anyway, not here to judge. It's okay. Alexa says, oh, wait. How would they feel like? Okay. Well, I already said that. Araceli says, I think sometimes people read way too much into what people are trying to say. Sometimes I say, sure, as in I'm cool with it, but people think I'm saying I don't want to, but I'll go with it. Araceli continues by saying, or sometimes I ask people if we could talk. They think I'm mad at them or that something is wrong, but actually I just want to catch up. LOL. Also, what people say are sometimes just their own opinions because they make up stories of who one is and isn't necessarily true. Every event is neutral. It just depends on whether we want to see it as something negative or positive. Nice. Compass trainings taught us well, huh? Yeah, all events are neutral. So we give it meaning. My favorite example is a car accident. You know, a lot of times people complain about car accidents. A lot of times people like, car accidents are a bad thing. They're negative. Are they negative, or is a car accident just a car accident? Is it just literally cars colliding? Let's say there were, I don't know, is getting hurt negative or positive? Most people would say it's negative, but is it? Or is it just neutral? And we just define, we give it whatever meaning it is. Maybe getting hurt is a blessing. Maybe losing a limb is a blessing. Maybe losing your limb gave you a perspective on life that you would have never ever had before. Granted, you probably would want to keep your limb after that, but maybe it's the blessing. I think there's always, as my dad always says, gain something through losing. That's like one of his favorite phrases. Okay. Kitty says, thanks for everything and letting me lean on you for confidence. You are literally my go-to person. You're amazing and special. Kitty, I'm honored. I'm honored that, that I'm your go-to person. And my kind of wish / hope for you, Kitty, is that you continue to develop your own confidence and you see your own self-worth. Continue developing and pushing yourself. And I'm most definitely here for you. And again, at the end of the day, like, we all get to develop our self-esteem, our self-love from within. I'm here to support you, but also work from within too. Thank you for being here. You always bring a lot of positive energy to our chats every single day, so I appreciate you a lot. Johnny says, a long time ago, I took part of helping with an event with multiple on-stage performance. One of the performances was a comedy, and the crowd wasn't having it. Out of pity, I decided to make a quick sign saying, please laugh. I walked to the center of the stage with a sign, and the audience died of laughter. That's hilarious. From then on, the audience got more fired up and laughed at the rest of the jokes. The cast through. One of the guys who was in charge of that performance later met with me and thanked me. Sometimes you have to make of the situation to make it a good one. Make fun of the situation to make it a good one. I love it, dude. That's so. I'm so glad. Like, that's such a cool story. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Araceli says, let's keep in mind that people have a variety of humor. Some people don't get dry humor and some do. Some people don't get American humor or British humor. It depends on the person, people, audience, etc. That's great to hear that you helped him out, though. That was very kind of you. I'm sure it meant a lot to him. That's awesome. Let's see. I do that a lot of times. Non-comedy situations. Awesome. Cool. All righty. Cool. So, at this point, ooh, wow. I can't believe the time goes by fast when we're doing these live streams. It's already been an hour and 10 minutes. Let's start to wrap up. If you got questions, feel free to keep asking them. Let's see. I'm going to wrap up with two thoughts. One, as we always do, we always end with kind of the topic in mind, the topic of today. And let's see. So I don't have to think about it later. I just want to let you know that tomorrow there will not be a live stream. Okay. So tomorrow, no live stream. But the day after that and continuing on, there will be live streams every single day, as always. But tomorrow, I'm taking day off because I have plans. But okay, so let's wrap up. Whatever comments, questions you have left, we'll continue to read through them. Today's topic is about anxiety, feeling bad. I say day number 2 because for me, I was feeling anxious yesterday. Today, I'm feeling anxious again. I would say the summary, what I learned through this live stream, and by just processing, is two things is like the magical number. Thing number 1 is I'm glad I didn't just feel crappy the whole day and just do that. I'm glad instead of feeling crappy, I at least, even though I, did a little escapism, even though I escaped from what I should have been doing today, at least my escape was something productive. Because I'm like, I knew whatever mindset I was in that present moment, I was not going to focus on my work because I quote unquote couldn't, you know? So I got an oil change, cleaned the house, did a bunch of stuff. So at least it was productive. However, as Araceli said, I believe the real trick, if we're feeling anxious and we're kind of feeling like we want to disconnect and not deal with it, I think, how do I, hold on. I got two thoughts again here. What Araceli is saying is focus on shifting. Whenever we have that negative energy, focus on shifting. And I'm trying to figure out some good resources on people. See, I know Tony Robbins does it. If you watch Tony Robbins, he's all about shifting that mindset. So you can listen to Tony Robbins. The reason why I hesitate to recommend Tony Robbins is because Tony Robbins does not speak to me. That's just me. Like, I don't know. He doesn't resonate with me. I think the work that he does is great. It just doesn't resonate with me. But I think he has so much great wisdom and power. So, it doesn't hurt to try. So if you're kind of stuck and you want to learn how to shift, go listen to Tony Robbins. That's one person that is focused on that a lot. What else? Who else? Jack Canfield is another guy. I don't know how to say this. There's a lot of transformational leaders. Here's the people that resonate with me more, that are more transformational leaders, more modern. The ones that I can understand and relate with. My two favorite ones, off the top of my head, that practice this or preach it on a daily basis, as opposed to more like entrepreneur, Alexi Panos and Preston Smiles. If you go on my YouTube channel under cool friends, or like on my main YouTube channel on the sidebar on a desktop, it will show. Well, most people don't use desktop anymore, but it'll show a list of my friends. Alexi Panos and Preston Smiles are on there. Otherwise, you could just Google search them. Alexi Panos and Preston Smiles. Okay, those are more modern day, like transformational philosophers / leaders. So I think they're easier to relate with than like Tony Robbins and Jack Canfield, in my opinion, because they're younger and they get it. They speak our language. Okay, let's see here. Kitty says, sweet dreams. Hope you enjoy your party. Thank you very much. Stay positive. Stay positive. I agree too. Yes, I get to continue shifting and working through that. Araceli says, LMAO, when I was in a car accident a few months ago, even though I lost my car and got hurt, I didn't see it as a bad thing, but rather something just happened. In contrast, the other driver was in a negative hole, decided to text me to tell me her short victim story. I had it worse, but didn't complain, though I did share my victim story with her without blaming her. For me, Tony Robbins is just a guy with a lot of great info and experience, though I just see him as a great guy, not a big idol or anything. Cupid, thank you for sharing that. All right, peoples. Thank you so much for hopping on tonight. Yes, that wraps it up. Again, tomorrow there will not be a live stream because I got some plans ready, but I'll be on the day and all the days following for the rest of the month. Okay. Have a wonderful day, evening, wherever you are in the world, and talk later. Okay. If you got any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, richard@richardquo.com, or you can message me, PM me, DM me, whatever you want to do. Okay. Good night, everyone. Bye.